In the Circuit Court of the 18th Judicial Circuit in and for Seminole County, Florida, State of Florida versus George Zimmerman. Verdict: we, the jury, find George Zimmerman not guilty.
It was a murder trial that captivated the nation. George Zimmerman, a neighborhood watch volunteer, shot and killed 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in what Zimmerman claims was an act of self-defense. The highly politicized case brought race relations front and center.
Trayvon Martin could have been me 35 years ago.
On July 13th, a jury found Zimmerman not guilty of second-degree murder and manslaughter in the death of Martin inside a gated community in Sanford, Florida. The verdict brought relief to Zimmerman and his supporters, but anguish to the Martin family, who claimed the justice system had failed them.
Cleveland 911. You need...
Hello, please. Help me. I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance.
I need police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here. I'm free now.
A May evening in Cleveland, Ohio, a young woman's frantic 911 call led to a shocking discovery. 3 young women, Amanda Berry, Michelle Knight, and Gina DeJesus, rescued from the home of a former school bus driver. The 3 were kidnapped and held for a decade inside Ariel Castro's House of Horrors, where they were chained, raped, and tortured. Amanda Berry, who gave birth to a daughter by Castro, managed to escape and call police. Castro pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. He was later found dead in his prison cell in what authorities ruled a suicide. It is a case that has gripped the world for years. Amanda Knox was 20 years old when she was convicted in 2009 of stabbing to death her roommate in the Italian city of Perugia. Her conviction was overturned in a second trial 2 years later due to lack of evidence, and Knox returned home to the U.S. But the drama is far from over. Italy's Supreme Court is retrying the case, prosecutors now calling for a 30-year sentence. No longer in Italy, Knox and her Italian ex-boyfriend spent 4 years in an Italian prison following the 2007 murder of Knox's British roommate, Meredith Kercher. The two have always maintained their innocence. In a new twist to the case, prosecutors say an argument over an unflushed toilet may have led to the murder. They claim Knox and her boyfriend were accomplices to another man who is already serving time for the killing. If Knox is found guilty in the retrial, it is unlikely the U.S. would extradite her, because she was already acquitted. In a case stranger than fiction, retired Illinois Police Sergeant Drew Peterson was sentenced in February to 38 years in prison for the murder of his third wife, Kathleen Salvo. Salvo was found dead in an empty bathtub in 2004. The coroner originally ruled it an accidental drowning. But when Peterson's fourth wife, Stacy, mysteriously disappeared in 2007, Salvo's body was exhumed and forensic testing showed the drowning followed a struggle. Prosecutors claim the former policeman murdered Salvo and then staged it to look like an accident. Peterson remains the prime suspect in the disappearance of Stacy Peterson, who has never been found. In May, 33-year-old Jodi Arias was convicted for the 2008 murder of her ex-boyfriend, Travis Alexander, who was found stabbed multiple times and shot in the head inside his Phoenix home. Her story to police changed several times throughout the investigation. She now claims she killed Alexander in self-defense. Arias still awaits sentencing. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. It took authorities 16 years to catch him. Now, notorious Boston mob leader Whitey Bulger is behind bars, convicted in August on several counts of murder, racketeering, money laundering, extortion, and weapons charges. The mobster who once ran South Boston sits in prison, sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms plus 5 years. A trial that reignited the national debate over abortion. Dr. Kermit Gosnell was found guilty in May of murdering babies. In graphic testimony, former workers at Gosnell's Philadelphia abortion clinic described how the 72-year-old physician covered up the deaths of newborns. He was found guilty in the murders of 3 babies and involuntary manslaughter in the drug overdose death of a 41-year-old patient. The former doctor is now serving life in prison. a massacre that shocked the military and the nation. Former U.S. Army psychiatrist Major Nidal Hasan, convicted of killing 13 people and wounding more than 30 others on the Fort Hood Army base in Texas, was sentenced to death by a military tribunal in August. Hasan, acting as his own attorney, admitted to the 2009 shooting and said he thought of himself as a mujahideen waging jihad against the U.S.
Hasan was never charged with terrorism, even though he is known to have been in contact with former senior al-Qaeda leader Anwar al-Awlaki. In New York, Christina Corbin, Fox News.